Hello, hello, hello. Super. Good evening, good evening.
Greetings.
You know, all you're sounding very jolly. Everybody seems so happy to be here.
There's a big one.
I never see people like controversy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is what creating the excitement. Just you all excited to be here, or you all excited for this particular topic this evening? Or is life just going so wonderful for each and every one? Fill me in, please. Inquiring minds want to know.
Topic.
Yeah, I think the topic is very bubbling. People want to know what in God's name we're going to talk about tonight. So
it's all about the topic.
Yeah, all about the topic and things.
All right.
The topic, and probably some people are having a good day. The temperature has been rising. The things a little bit warmer. The snow has taken a break. So I think
what's snow? Excuse me, the what?
What are you talking about?
What has taken a break?
The weather. The weather.
Hi, Andrea.
Oh yeah, the temperature did actually rise up. Yesterday it was like 80. Yesterday was like 80.
A little rise in the vibes,
Today was like 78.
It was 30 degrees up there. How can that be a rise of anything? 30?
It was all 19 and 10 and thing. The way you're talking about it rising.
So
you're telling me that 30 degrees is something to celebrate in your neck of the woods?
No, sir. 45 maybe. 30 no.
Well, sir, it did go up, like I said a minute ago. Yesterday it went up to 80. Today was about 78. So when you talk about high temperatures, this is what I'm talking about when you say the rise up. But don't tell me the weather nice, it went up to 30. That's ludicrous.
That's in your neck of the woods?
As far as I'm concerned,
when you're in the cold, brethren, when you're in the cold and things cold to the coolness, you will appreciate any kind of rise, brethren. Any kind of rise.
Any kind of rise? Any kind of rise.
Even if you had to pick up a magazine and just look
at it. Any kind of rise.
You need a rise. You know what I mean? Things must rise up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know some people will be debating that based on the topic tonight. About the ability to rise up. Lucy O'Brien, good night. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Angela Moore, hello and good night to you.
That's right.
Thank you for tuning in. Wow, I was looking to do 3 minutes of welcome before. Right now we have gone over 30-something seconds. I thought I was just going to do 3 minutes of welcome, but you guys seem so happy to be here. You have me talking.
Yeah, we're waiting for the latecomer. No latecomer tonight?
I don't know. I really don't know what's happening. Well, if that's the case, I'm pretty sure you all have enough ammunition to kick this thing,
brethren,
and hopefully convince a few people along the way that they need to change.
You see all the shooting Karin doing there, there's enough ammunition. I understand it's over 2 million bullets that has been coming through every time, So if you're talking about ammunition, we have enough ammunition.
All right.
To make a dent in something. That's what we're talking about.
Well, for the married women in the chat, I hope that they are in a position where they can speak freely within their household. Because I know who mouth going to be big tonight with this subject matter we have at hand. You all know I am plugging my computer.
Repercussions can be felt.
But nevertheless,
but Lord, help us, Father.
My name Judith.
Why?
Dr. Judith is here.
Pull down the top of your screen for me, please.
Yeah,
take that light out of. Let's see that light.
Let's clap that up, man. Let's clap that up.
On your face. Dr. Judith.
Darling, how you doing, darling?
I am so happy to see your face tonight because I thought you left Karin alone to defend herself on this argument.
Pressure.
Well, I'm staying an hour, okay?
100.
I have to restrict myself.
100. I really hope that you stick around and wait. 100 married. I know.
100. Watch what you say.
I know how much you can join in the conversation.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, what we gonna do? Run the thing, and let me come back and jump tonight. People, we're talking about polygamy versus monogamy.
Poly who?
Yeah. So Sam, run the thing and let me come back and get into this conversation
Let me
here
run
tonight.
this thing. Let me run this thing before we get run.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
Koya, I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cup from Music by Tom Cups. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, E.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Ollie boy, I had to run for some tea and come back.
Yeah, that's
Once Dr. Judith come on tonight, I know this will not be a very kind conversation.
Ay.
I know it will not be very kind.
It's gonna be a kind conversation. I think it will be a kind and you know.
No man, that sister they spit fire when it comes to certain things, man. You know.
Yeah, blouse and skirts and everything.
We're gonna let she talk. We're gonna let she talk. She talk tonight.
Yeah, blouse and skirts.
But you see me, all you know.
I like to talk foolishness, you know. I don't like to talk foolishness.
All you know where I stand. Because you see, people, we're living in a society today where it's okay to date someone. You know, once you have acceptable age, you know, it's okay to hop in and out of relationships if they aren't suitable. Or simply if you feel to change your mind about the other person. You know, these things are okay in society. They are not frowned upon. And within these said relationships, you know, where they call it you're courting, there's kissing, touching each other body parts and private parts and
what?
Yeah, sex. Yes, sex. It's permissible in these relationships. There are no laws against this, and society doesn't frown their face upon this. No matter how many times a woman or a man hop in and out of bed with other people, they say that's nobody's business. And that's acceptable in this society. Meanwhile, in some cultures, this is frowned upon. It's the normal rites of passage for any coming-of-age teenager. And if that teenager happens to be a boy and has not scored with a female by, let's say, senior year in high school, he's labeled sometimes as a loser, a nerd, or whatever creative names they use nowadays. In some cultures or religions, I should say, like Islam or Judaism, both parents and the collective community keep a rather close or watchful eye on their offspring, especially the females, to ensure that they adhere to strict tenets of their faith. And for these young girls not to be deflowered before marriages. You see, most of these marriages are prearranged by parents, and according to statistics, most of them outlast conventional marriages where individuals select their own mates. And they stand before God and man, and, you know, sometimes they say, you know, some vows written by God knows who and repeat repeated by the person officiating the ceremony, and we stand up there and we go through this hypocritical thing year after year because it's tradition. Meanwhile, the law prohibits either individual from taking onto themselves another mate. This in this society is referred to as what? Bigamy. I don't know who come up with that word. Maybe you bigger than me. I don't know. It is unlawful across these United States and in several countries across the world. But my question, people, is if this current system of monogamy that we practice is not working because 4 or 5 out of every 1,000 getting divorced a month. Divorces across the country, across the world. Separation, and while people separated, give them a legal right to do anything, even though the papers still say you're married. If this system of monogamy is not working, then why can't we, as a people, explore something else? Like polygamy, for instance. Sam,
yeah, bro.
Switch things up. Generally, I would start off with Karin, but let me ask you something. I'd like for you to start this off.
Yes, sir. Tell me, how are we starting off?
What does this ideal life of polygamy look like?
What it looks like?
Yeah. And tell me something too. How much would that life cost?
What it looks like another structure of relationships that other societies benefit from in the past and some presently today. And we look at the success rates, we look at the benefit rate, we look at the equity that it builds. So, that's kind of how it looks. It's not for everyone, but for some people, it works. What's the other question you asked me? The second part to it.
How much does that life cost?
Well, explain the cost factor, because it depends on, what, in my view, it could be a lower cost to a better quality of life. Or maybe you could say, well, the cost is high. So it will be high in some aspects, So it all depends on how we, want
I think that the biggest hindrance for men taking on a second wife, despite of whatever the law says, I think the biggest hindrance is finance. I personally believe that if most of us could afford it, we would maintain another woman in a separate home. Well, for whatever your reason, but society frowns upon it, and it could be costly once you found out.
Before we run away, countries or communities that subscribe to this, there is a rule. They say, you could have 2 or 3, and if you can afford it, go for the 4th. But those are communities that are set, and that's their actual structure. That's how they survive. So it for us who grew up under a different system or in a different society, we don't really put the provision together to live in that system, because it's more, it's more of a what we would call a westernized type of a structure. So it has a different, so the provision for that in terms of the finance, we're not looking for finance in that direction, opposed to if it's something that you came up in, then of course automatically you're going to, prep yourself for those types of things. So I guess, that's sort of like the disadvantage or the advantage on the other end. One person or one group would prepare for it, and one group you're not really prepared because it's not part of how you operate or part of how that society operates. I mean, you might have enough money to go on a date.
But the thing is, why I say it's costly, I mean, once you found out, because if you don't believe me, just ask Jeff Bezos. He had to cough up $38 billion.
That's
$billion
good.
for having an outside woman outside of his relationship. So not even the money made him safe in the structure that society has today. Because that woman, nothing is being taken away from her. But the mere fact that he have the audacity to keep another woman besides her, she walk away from it all.
Well, you know what's so interesting about that is whoever that lawyer was to get her that money, that is who the IRS is supposed to hire to get some money from Jeff.
So tell me something, women on the panel, ladies on the panel. I won't even pretend. I will not even pretend to ask you all whether you're pro or con where this situation is concerned. I am willing to put my head on a block and say, no, you do not agree with any polygamous situation. So I would say that your status on this or your position is con. So Karin, talk to me. Tell me, what are your cons when it comes to polygamous relationships?
Okay. I don't believe in sharing physically, sharing a man, sexually, sharing a man, sharing a home with another woman, sharing a man, sharing time during the week as to what days he's here, what days he's there. When we first discussed bringing this topic to the platform, we said, I believe it was Sam that said, polygamy is basically based on the structure of having children and being supportive of children. Now, all the readings that I've done on polygamy, the man may have anywhere between 1 and 4 on average wives, correct? However, he does not have very good relationships with his children. He's not close to his children. He's not highly supportive of the children. The children end up having emotional issues. They end up doing badly in school, academically, then they don't thrive. So there are drawbacks to this supposed wonderful union of multiples.
Which part of the world is this?
All over.
No.
Wherever polygamy exists, North Africa, Asia, even in this country. Although it's not legal in this country, it wasn't until May of 2020 that polygamy was moved from a 3rd-degree felony to a misdemeanor.
So how are the Mormons surviving in this country? Because Mormons do, that's their vibe of how they work. So they're under the misdemeanor thing, or they're under the religious freedom?
Well, there is religious freedom, but then if you're breaking certain rules,
free willy. Okay.
You have to.
No pun intended.
But what I wanna ask Karin, though, I mean, if you're gonna just be impartial, those problems you talk about also happen in monogamous relationships,
but
where
when it's
the father is absent, or the nurturing of the child and all of that. So I don't think that's a valid, in my opinion, if you're going to really break the subject down, I don't think that's a totally valid thing to say, well, this is a polygamy disadvantage, because the monogamous relationships also have those issues as well, where the father may not have a good relationship with the kids. And there's some reason.
However, we're talking monogamy versus polygamy. We're talking about psychologists, sociologists, psychiatrists. We're talking about religious groups that have studied over the years the two groups and compared. We're not talking about isolated situations. So it is valid studies have been done between monogamous relationships and polygamous relationships. So
but it's interesting.
Discarding their findings doesn't make sense to me. I understand the situation exists in other areas of life, but these are studies done between the two groups.
Yeah, but allow me to give you a short list. You mentioned just now North Africa. There are several countries just in Africa that recognize polygamous marriages. Algeria, Cameroon, Chad,
That's true.
Central Republic of Congo, Egypt, Djibouti, Central African Republic, Gabon, Guinea, Libya, Kenya, and 15 other countries, including Nigeria. So to say that it's just North Africa, no, we reach all the way down to Central, going into the southern part of Africa.
Granted.
So we could say it stretch across the continent and not just in an isolated area. It's unfair to say just North Africa. And for these people who did these surveys, going into some neck of the woods where they cannot even be transported, where some of this is going on, I don't know who they spoke to come up with these statistics in terms of this is not working and children are ignored when these people live together in one community, in one yard, so to speak. Where did they do their surveys to find out that overall this thing is not working and children are ignored? Across Africa? Come on. It would take you years. It would take them years to do a study like that.
But this is years in the making. We're not talking about
those countries that I give. Yes.
We're not talking about studies just done in the last 10, 20 years. Monogamy has been around for approximately, I'm based on my readings, 1,000 years. So granted, it has been around since Assyrian culture, Mesopotamian culture. I understand all of that. But these studies cannot just be invalidated. They're not just, a drop of the line, by chance studies. If we can do studies on the different presidents over the last 100 years, I promise you that this is even more in depth.
100 versus thousands.
Dr. Judith, wake up. Dr. Judith, this is a boring subject for you. All right.
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. But okay, so what? Okay, so in contrast to some of the readings that I had in terms of research, there was one account. Actually, no, this one I was actually speaking to someone who was giving me an example of someone that they knew, where while he was growing up, and this was in one of the countries in Africa, his father had 3 wives. And the wives had separate homes on the same compound. And at least once a week, they'll all sit around the table and have dinner or some sort of a togetherness type of a thing. So I'm trying to understand the dynamic of, like, okay, if they're going to do these research, did they do an overall research? Because to some people who grew up in this type of a dynamic, there's a different outcome for them, or is something that works for them. So I'm just wondering as to the extent. Did we? Oh, there you are. We thought we. You're back, sir. Everything good?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
I just wanted to throw that in the pot and see who else would like to.
I understand that you're talking about the different housing and everything, but like the Igbo, I don't know if that's one of the tribes that you were thinking of, the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, if that they have separate housing for each person. What I'm saying is, when you have all these multiple family units, and they basically are separate family units, and dad just will have certain time here with this unit, certain time there, then they do get together. The suggestion that it's all negative is not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that the children do not have that direct personal relationship when you're talking about, 15, 20, 30 children in one family unit. They don't get an opportunity. We've seen that here in this country. When a woman has 10 or more children, you don't necessarily have that one-to-one time to spend, because his time, it's emotionally and physically draining for that man. And probably sexually as well for that man in a polygamous relationship.
So how they fix that is that each wife can't be the same type of person. So if it's 3 different personalities, it's sort of like a refresher as you move along. group
What is that?
as we move along. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
So Dr. Judith, would you be willing to become Adabisi's 14th wife and go back to Cameroon and be the wife in charge of the goats?
His 14th wife?
Yes.
I would go in that position and then kill off the rest of them.
You see, this is a problem.
Like Karin said, I don't share well. I don't share certain things well. So I am not I would not be able to fit into such a situation. Having known the monogamous situation, I would not be, I think some of it, and I think some of this is male madness. Where it exists, whether it's in Africa, Jamaica, because there are a lot of polygamous men in Jamaica, they just don't talk about it, don't call themselves that. They're
Polyamorous. Polyamorous is the better term.
Oh, Lord. Okay, polyamorous.
Polygamy suggests that they have actual marriage structure.
Well, okay, polygamy says you're married. Polyamorous says you're whorish. That's basic definition. So the thing is that I believe that people who do that kind of stuff, whether it's structured in marriage or just polyamorous, as you say, is that they have certain things that they lack why they do that. Now, they might think they have a lot to share why they do that. I think they lack something. I think they lack the fear of intimacy. And I think that one person, one-on-one, is so difficult, is so trying, is so involved. For a man to be involved with 3, 4, 5 women and say he has a great relationship, to me is a lie. He probably is using his sexual shenanigans and thinking that means that he has a relationship. That's not a relationship. Anybody can, for many years I said, I'm sorry to say it, I said that there are a lot of men who they'll stick that thing in a hole as long as they can find another hole to go from when they finish there. If you're looking at it all in a sexual realm, then sure. But if you look at it from the part that I look at it from, it's a spiritual thing. It's an emotional thing. There's so many elements to having a relationship, one wife, one husband, and to have 2 wives. I don't think men are healthy. I don't think they're well to consider they could have 2 wives. I don't think they think, because the bottom line is if you really have a relationship with 2 women and you're a man, you're a gargon. No, what I think they do, they skim over, and it becomes more physical and sexual than this.
But how dare you say, Judith, that is not a good relationship? That may not be a good relationship for you, but that's a good relationship for him based on his values.
That's not a relationship. That's a connection.
No, but for you, it's not good.
No, it's not a relationship.
That may be serving him well.
For anybody, because a true sexual marital relationship involves all those elements, spiritual, emotional, all that stuff is involved, and you cannot achieve it well. You cannot do it well with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. You can't.
So okay, hold on. So what about the other version of the polyandry, right?
Polyandry?
Yeah, polyandry is where the woman has multiple husbands.
Right.
So when it's the other way around, then what? What's your?
It's just as crazy. To me, it's just as crazy.
Polyandry exists, but it's a very small percentage.
That's rare.
Globally.
That's rare.
It exists in Asia, India in particular. But what from some of the stuff that I've read recently is that in a lot of those situations, a few that there are, it's a woman maybe marrying a brother or her husband's brother or something like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes there are cultures who are required if a woman's husband dies, the husband is required to marry the brother's widow and things like that. So there are a few little differences in the dynamics there.
You said it's a
when you
requirement.
listen, guys, when you
Hold on
talk
1 second.
you're
You saying it's a
saying,
requirement, or he has that choice if he so chooses?
There are some cultures where it's not a choosing. Few and far apart, but there are some cultures.
It's a well, even some stories in the Bible.
The responsibility.
Yeah,
So
even
if
some
my
stories
brother's
in the Bible
if my
talks about
brother's wife
responsibility.
her close eye and a snuggle tooth, and that is what he saw fit for him, and now God forbid he dies, I'm supposed to take on that
You're
as
thinking,
my wife?
You're thinking just on a superficial level. This is
no. I am talking right now on a
1
superficial
second.
level.
This is just a superficial level. Basically, what it is designed to do when he takes on his dead brother's wife is to support the family structure, because maybe that's the religious component where she's not even allowed to get a job.
Right.
So he needs that financial and that family support. It's
and
not
sometimes
about
it's to
sexual connection at all.
continue generation. It's generational, that generational piece.
Yes.
That's
A lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
A lot of for the polygamous relationship historically have been based on the types of government people have had to deal with. When we look at the monarchs from European history and all of that, it was about status.
Yeah.
I'm not eliminating the sexual desires that they wanted to express as well, but a lot of it was about status. In certain areas like sub-Saharan Africa, it's about creating wealth, as I know that Sam has brought that into being able to leave a legacy and creating wealth. Maybe they were struggling. Sometimes there are too many women in a particular society, and one man takes on 3 and 4 to sort of balance things out.
Before you say that, Sam, let me just put this in. Let me say this.
Yes.
When we talk about polygamy, the facts and information that Karin is talking about, that's not what people think about when you think about polygamy. The first thing they think is sex.
Sex.
That's the first thought. The first thing they think of is relationship. They think of sharing. They think of, I am not going to go and have him have 4 women and I'm one of them, and that's how polyandry is with the woman. But the fact of the matter is that the first thing that comes to our minds is sex, sharing money, sharing sex, sharing penis, sharing time. All of that comes to mind. So while I understand and respect what you're saying historically, Karin, I think in this discussion, the idea is people are concerned about not being willing to share, or some people like polygamy, but I go as a therapist, I go to the relational part. I go to the part where it says it is not that people do not do well relating in monogamous relationships. They don't do well. They have so many issues and so many what's the word? I can't think of the word, but so much negativity in a monogamous relationship. They shortchange each other. They're not good at relating. They don't communicate well with each other. And you bring another person into that. And so now you have more confusion. That's the part that I deal with polygamy from, is that it serves in times past, and maybe even still now, money, status, all that stuff. But when it comes to human relationships, man and woman, polygamy to me is destructive. And all it does is add numbers. Sorry, Sam.
No problem. So I noticed the chat is very quiet. So a couple of weeks ago, we spoke a little bit about polygamy and the chat was buzzing. Tonight, we bring the topic to you, and the chat is really quiet. And we have a little bit of people on.
What did I say in the beginning, Sam?
Some people are afraid to share their
exactly. Some of these people are within earshot of their
significant other. There are no repercussions.
Hold on. Let me throw a little disclaimer here. I am in the conversation. I'm being impartial. It doesn't necessarily mean it's my personal preference.
You're a polygamist. So is your friend.
Excuse me? No. I'm putting that up so that people in the chat, if you have hold on, we're not judging anybody. If you make a point in the chat,
no,
we're not going to judge you. if you want to make a point, whether it's your personal preference or you've seen it, well, okay, Karen, tell me.
I hope people know that we're not being judgmental on this show.
Well,
Even if we have our own opinions, we're not judging anybody else.
But it's after 10, and the last comment was 9:50. So I don't know where people.
They're considering it. They're mulling it over.
But listen to this, people. Karin made a statement earlier on in terms of the law that was changed in Utah. We're talking about 2 years ago now. In the middle of the pandemic.
Not even a complete 2 years.
Understand something now. In the middle of this pandemic, you have to ask yourself, what is it that brought this on for these lawmakers to decide to get together and say, you know what, boy, we have to change this law. In Utah, you know, they changed the law. That's
the Mormon people.
This was at one time a criminal act. And now it's reduced to the status of a parking ticket. That's not even a misdemeanor.
But that's where the Mormons operate from. The Mormons believe in polygamy.
They saw the opportunity during this time when these courts were closed. Are you kidding me?
This is my point. Yo, let me tell you something. Everybody quarantine. And this is what I'm saying. Now you're actually forced to sit there and spend time with this individual.
Jenny girl is like,
Okay. Yeah, but what as I was saying,
join the chat.
This pandemic revealed a lot of things. Some cover the tracks. Some put up a disclaimer. A lot of people were faced with reality. A mirror was put up in front of them, or suddenly the veil was lifted from their eyes. And they actually had time to sit at home with this person that they made this vow till death do us part.
Sorry, Curtis Henry. May I ask you a question, sir?
You just did.
Are you against polygamy?
Am I against it or am I pro?
Yeah,
I do. I have always stated, and this is a personal thought. I may have stated it aloud at times. I do believe that had I come upon riches, so to speak, in life, that is one thing that might have pushed me in that direction. I'm not saying that money would have made me or changed me or made me a good or a better or a bad person, but it's so easy. It's so much easier for you when you have. That's why I started off with that conversation. Finances. I think it's so much easier for an individual to now say, hey, baby, let's go Bahamas for the weekend. Whereas if your budget is only $100, you have to say, yo, let me stop by here and pick up something to eat. And you can't really go anywhere. But having the money frees up an individual to free himself a lot more.
What, to take 2 women instead of 3 to go to the island?
Take 2, 3, 4, whatever his heart desires. So people give into these, they give into these fantasies, these whims, these whatever you want to call them, based on their financial situation in life.
So then it has nothing really to do with relationship.
No, I am saying that okay. Yes, that relationship that they may so crave outside of the one that they have, like the if you are saying that it's the Mormons in Utah, when they realize that they are now locked inside with this one individual day after day, you know, you can't even go to work and get your 8-9 hours away from this individual. You're now locked within the I am saying it as it is. You're locked within the confines of your home with this individual, and now it's like, you know what, brethren, come. They hold their meeting and they say, we have to change the law.
Let me ask you, if they had 3 women locked up with them, that would be okay? That would be better?
Yeah, you switch from here, you go over there.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's variety you're looking.
Isn't that the spice of life?
I don't know.
Good night. Good night, Joanne Archer. I recognize the last name.
Yeah, I know this name very well. You also know this name too.
So
all right, welcome. We'd like to welcome Joanne to the chat.
But the mere statement that polygamy is outlawed in the United States and in other parts of the world, I think that proved that at one point of time or another it was practiced.
It has been practiced.
Okay, so here we are again. Let me finish this statement. Here we are again with a group of men. A group of men who tend to make up laws and change laws to suit themselves or to appease the general public, depending on what those the populace may think or feel at that particular time. So a group of men come together and decide we're going to change the laws to suit the voting public who have them in power, or those who are of influence and have the money. So it's the law sways depending on who's in power.
They're changing the laws, but they created the laws for those polygamous situations.
Okay,
before they're changing what they created.
But maybe there weren't any laws. It was just the natural order of
maybe
things.
not written in the way that we have them now, but they were in place. Yes, they were.
So before we run away, I just want to make this clear. When I went to Senegal for the first time, shout out to Sabra London. I performed over there and all of that. I went to a lecture, and we had to. Well, it wasn't anything we have to do. It was part of the trip, and we learned a lot of historical things about Senegal. We learned about the island of Gori and the no return, and all of those things. And part of what was covered was polygamy. So, of course, me being the age I was back then, we're talking 1999 around there. So I was like, 29, going into 30. So, of course, you hear multiple wives. The first thing we'll think about is menage a trois and things like that. When that part of the lecture was done, I was just like, wow, that's not what I thought it was. but it was very enlightening to just see, okay, all right, I grew up under one, in a society where monogamy is the approval thing, and then it was interesting just to open my mind to understand what the polygamy system is and how it operates and the purpose for it. So there's a purpose. It's not really all about the sex, and which was actually when we spoke about the polyandria aspect, it was nice that the ladies put in that it was not just about the sex, right, Curtis? It was nice on that end, but when we talk about the man having the multiple wives, it's all about sex, and he needs to run around and put something in a hole somewhere. So I just want to bring balance back to understanding that, okay, a system that's created or a structure or relationship structure that's created is created for a purpose. And again, everything is not for everybody. That's the other situation. So I just wanted to put that in the mix so we don't run away and think it's just all about sex and it's all about the partners and all.
I already said that. You had stated that way earlier, and I definitely saw that supported in a lot of different ways in literature. But it is not about sex. It's about creating family units. It's about creating, generating income and all of that. Granted, I don't know. It's sort of weird. Sort of losing my thought process here.
Yeah.
Let me take this back to the religious side of things now. I believe in today's society, any kid who's in the church, growing up in the church, and he proclaims that he admires King Solomon.
Right?
I mean, or if he's aspiring to be like him, he'd be lauded. You understand? The kids, Solomon was the wisest man, and this kid wants to be like King Solomon. Great, he'd get a pat on the back, right? Good son. Continue with the Bible study. Keep coming to church. Keep reading your Bible. But the minute that kid talk about the number of wives that Solomon had, and he wants to imitate that, then it's like no. Certain biblical characters, example Solomon, they've spoken about in high esteem. Solomon, who sat on the throne as the king of Israel, was said to have how many? 700 wives and 300 concubines. But then yet still, if a kid jump up and say he wants 100, no. Well, we need to put that part aside. Why? If you want to embrace the Bible, embrace the whole thing.
Sam,
not true.
Well, I just sort of collected my thoughts on that. When the institution, when the structure is built, to create family units.
But wait,
What
nobody
happens-
answering me on that? Nobody,
No.
my statement just going out. Nobody answering that.
Let her
Well,
finish the thought she had originally.
All I could
Is there
say
a question?
was, all I
Yeah.
could say was in high school when I wanted to
Was there a question?
types of topics, I would open Songs of Solomon and all the breast texts and the lips
Oh, that's yeah,
and the
yeah.
flowers, and those are like really good
Come on, lines.
conversation pieces that I would put in my lines because it was from the Bible. You know what I mean? It was a kind of little.
What
Yeah,
Curtis is asking is that
that-
how come Solomon was willing? It was okay. He was the wisest man, and he had all these women. And if a young man in this time and age wants to imitate him, it's okay to imitate him until you get to the amount of wives that he had. He's not allowed to imitate him in that. Why is that? That's what he's saying. Right?
The chat bubbling. Which one we going with in the chat, guys? Which one we attacking?
Can I before we go much further on Solomon, the polygamous thing where what happens is, and I'm asking you, Sam, because you had exposure outside of this continent. What happens when creating the family units is what the structure is all about? What happens when a woman is infertile and cannot? What do they do then? Do they somehow started, or
it depends on what it is they're doing, because normally if they're going to have that, it's because there's a purpose intended.
Okay.
So it could be not all the women could be fertile. That woman might be beneficial in a different area. Maybe she's great at administrational skills. Maybe she's a teacher. But remember now, it's everyone is working for the good of the whole. So even if having children may not be your part of your purpose in the mix, your skills or your specialty may bring benefit to the whole. All right. So that's
let me ask you guys a question. In this day and age, can you imagine that there would be women with all their educational advancements and everything, that they would actually participate? Remember the mindset that we have, like Karin said and I said, what is mine, because that's the mindset of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's possible that right here in the United States, I mean, whether it becomes a law or not, and people just like, let me not get into that part. That people get married knowing full well it's illegal, but that's what they want, because they want all these pieces that you're talking about. The organization. See, that's what marriage is anyway, whether we like it or not. That's what marriage is supposed to be. A monogamous marriage is supposed to be all the things you're saying. He has his skills that he brings to it. He's good at managing money. She's good at managing money, whatever it is. That's what a unified marriage is supposed to be. All you're doing to me is adding numbers. And then you're going to say, well, this one can cook and this one don't have children and this one does this, and it's part of a group thing. But what I'm asking basically is, can you imagine such a situation working in this day and age?
It does exist. It does exist over the years.
Not legally.
Are we
not legally?
Are we looking at it? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karin.
1 second, sir. Over the last couple of decades, I've seen multiple interviews of polygamous families here in the U.S. and the women are professionals, so it's not a money-based thing for them. The women are professional attorneys and business owners. I mean, large corporate, positions and stuff like that. So there are a lot of professionals who decide whatever that lure is for that family structure. That's what they want.
And you really think that this is about family structure? You guys really think that?
I'm not inclined to think that. I think that
are we? There's two answers to this. Are we answering it from a religious standpoint, or are we just being general?
I'm not answering from a religious standpoint.
I'm not dealing with that right now.
I'm asking Dr. Judith.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not dealing with that right now.
Okay, so we're on a general level.
Most of the world does not operate on a religious standpoint in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
Even those who say they get married.
Okay, because so if someone is looking from a religious point of view, the answer would be different because you're under that confinement. But if you're going to be general, then we have to look at, and these are the people who are looking to, what's the word I want to find here? The people that's looking to go against the grain. So let's say you're a person that's comfortable with a regular 9 to 5, masters say, you have 2 weeks in the year, go on a vacation, come back, whatever, you hold a job, you have a nice little house, you have your spouse, and polygamy is not for you. If what you have is working, great. If you are going against the grain, especially as a Black person, in this country where we don't own the pharmaceuticals, we don't own the food, we don't own the economy, what do we own? Do we own anything? Anybody? We own
not much of anything.
Okay, so what we wearing came from China, right? The shoes, the chocolate came from where? Whatever
Belgium.
Wherever it is, we own nothing right now. All the Oklahoma got burned up and all these other Black districts that were supposed to be helping us get ahead have all been destroyed. So we had to look at that. We had to look at the number of single mothers. We had to look at, okay, where are most of the fathers? So you gotta, if you're gonna ask that question, you gotta look at, okay, is the system or the structure that we have, the traditional structure that we have, is that working? And if it's not working, then we had to try something else.
Okay, so
yes, my dear.
Sorry, from the religious point of view, okay, let me say this to you. I believe in marriage. I believe in one man, one woman. That's what I believe. Okay, in marriage, unified in marriage. I don't believe in a side piece. I don't believe in sharing. I don't believe in any of that. But I am one of. I'm not. It's not a preponderance of people that believes what I just said. People say they believe it, but they go along with something else because they want to hook up with somebody. They don't want to be alone, so they hook up and they get involved in all sorts of relationships just not to be alone. I do not believe that polygamy is healthy mentally. I do not, from my standpoint, from my training, from the way I was brought up, I still believe that one man, one woman is the best. Curtis said it's not. No, you just said it's not working. The bottom line is polygamy is not going to work either. You know why?
So how do we know? How do we know something that we don't practice, something that we don't try? We're looking at worldwide. This monogamous.
You can't try everything that comes along. That's crazy.
Who put that system into place?
You cannot try everything that comes along.
Hold on.
It doesn't matter.
But Judith, that is not something that came straggling along. The monogamous situation that we're speaking about, that is a structure that was put in place at a particular time by whom? And what I'm saying to you right now, whether it's within the confines of that marriage or the confines of people just dating and jumping from relationship to relationship, as I stated in the beginning, that is not frowned upon. But the minute you go and you give these hypocritical vows, as I call them, you didn't even write these vows yourself. This thing till death do us part.
But something, Kurt,
hold on, baby, hold on. You go and you take these vows. All of a sudden now it becomes illegal. You were doing it before you went in the church, right? And nobody looks down upon that. For a woman to jump from bed to bed to bed to bed, nobody looks down at that. Or whether the man does it, nobody looks down at that. In society, it's not illegal, is what I'm saying. But the minute you go and you get married, oh no, it's illegal. You can't do that. It's now a crime to have another wife. What is that about?
First of all,
who said that where did these laws come up? Somebody put that in place.
You know what?
And we didn't do it for ourselves.
You know what?
We didn't do it for us.
Mr. Henry, first of all, is your response orchestrated or is it real? Because you have a lot of passion going on.
No. I get passionate when I try to make a point, and I need to be heard. And when you say no, I need to be heard. What it is I'm saying, that system is not working.
What do you mean it's not working? What do you mean?
Okay, what are the percentages?
People are not working at it. It's not the system's problem. It's us.
But it's a
We're
system
not
that
working at relationship. We're not working at relationships.
Somebody put that in place.
We're getting into things with people, and the moment something goes wrong, we run.
We fly.
We'll do it in polygamous situations also. We'll do it in any situation because we are basically self-centered. We're narcissistic, most of us. We're ego-driven. So anything that doesn't feed us, we will run from it. Bull crap. Polygamy is not going to get anything done better. The bottom line is that until people decide to share communication, to be relatable to each other, to share intimacy, not to be afraid. Because let me tell you something: the majority of people, whether in monogamous or polygamous relationships, or polyandry, whatever you want to call it, they are afraid of intimacy. I say it and I mean it because I know it. I've seen it enough. I've seen people, they want to be together, they get together, and the first thing they do, they start complaining. Oh, every time I turn around, he wants to touch me. Every time I turn him on, he wants sex. Before they got together, whether it's legal or just common law living together, she and him was doing it in the car, around the bush, anywhere. They get together and now they don't want to be they don't want to share as much as they were. We do not relate well to each other.
That's why she needs to share.
I don't care what title we hang our hats under, we are going to run into the same problem.
But that is why she needs to share, because if
it's going to be a problem.
That's why she needs to share.
Share.
Because she stopped sharing.
Yeah, but when she wants to share with multiple men, you both have issues with that. Can you explain that one?
We had issues with multiple men. What do you mean?
No, with her having multiple husbands.
I never heard anything about that system. I never heard anything about that system being practiced. I never heard anybody or know anybody in a situation like that, any respectable black man who have a woman and he's sharing her with 4 or 5 different or one other person and saying, yeah, this is my woman, or this. I have never seen or heard that. There hasn't been a system in place that has worked where I can take an example from. And personally, for me, no.
Can you imagine she leave you and go around the room and the same thing, almost the same thing you were doing with him doing with her too. And let me tell you something, whether it's in polygamy, whether we believe it or admit it or not, the jealousy starts. All the craziness starts because what we as human beings say we can deal with is usually not true. Well, I don't mind. I don't have a problem with it until it starts happening. Now, men, it doesn't seem that men have a problem with polygamy because they're the ones who are supposedly benefiting from it. But when a woman starts having more than one partner, more than one husband, that's when the madness will start.
Okay.
You tell me doing that with him and we did it last night.
Hold on. Dr. Judith, I know how you feel.
No, you don't know.
I know how you feel. But this is what I found. When I was doing
polygamy, yeah.
When I was doing the research, you had the what's the other one?
Andry.
No, not that one. The other one.
Polygyny, polyandry, polyamorous, polyamorous.
Yeah, that one. The
polyamorous don't count. They're not married.
Not married. Some of them are. That's why
polyamorous.
It is not polyamorous. There is not polyamorous.
You call it group marriage. There's one called group marriage. Hold on. We could let the chat talk too. There's one called group marriage, which is the polyamory, right? You have the monogamy, and when I did the research, I noticed there were certain terms in the monogamy and the polyamory, which was more about intimacy, romance, that sort of thing. It was more sexually based.
All of them are.
All of them are not sexual. You see, that's
yeah. Okay.
That's why we're having this conversation.
You can keep reading them words.
That's why we're having this conversation. And I'm going to use nature to explain.
And I guess monogamy is not sexually based.
Polygamy didn't have all that romance and intimacy and all of that in it. Now, those things are involved, but the objective was not about the sex.
Okay.
There was an objective for having that type
All
of
relationships have an objective,
community.
whether
But
spoken or not.
But let's look at nature. After let's look at the bees, right? After the drone has given all his substance to the queen, what does the workers do to that drone?
Kill it, blow scope.
They take his tail out and throw him in the forest, right? That is what they did. So who is really benefiting? The guy is really benefiting, or is the purpose of it more about, all right, you know what? We're planting some trees now. We may not get the fruits 20, 30 years from now, but the children will, right? And a very good example of that is the Malis in Jamaica. Bob is not here anymore, but guess what? The Malis are eating the fruits today of what the father
He was polyamorous.
All right?
Yeah, no,
So, but my point is, you can't just say, look at the structure and say, well, it's all about sex. It's not just all about sex. it's a strategy to how you get from one point to the next.
Yeah,
so
but men and women, when they get together, usually do the sexual piece, no pun intended, to get to where they want to go. Come on, you can have a man and a woman that don't listen. You can
explain that, Dr. Judith. Explain that.
You can have a man and a woman who has very little sexual attraction together. Keep them in a house together long enough. And we're there discussing the future, you know, and we have the legacy we're talking about. And the music has to continue. And this has to continue. And one day, all of a sudden, they look at each other across the table discussing the music and going to Ghana and building this fine house up. And I don't think particularly Bob Marley was attracted to Rita Marley after a while, or maybe even in the beginning. But he saw something in her, which kind of fit in with what you're saying. He saw a business mind. He saw a very smart woman that they could come together and create a certain, which is what she's still living today. That compound in Ghana that they have. That's a part of what you're talking about. So they came together for a structure, but that was not his main.
So where's your compound, Dr. Judith? Where's your compound?
So what now?
Where's your compound?
Listen to me. No one want me on my compound. No. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm a poly Judith. Me and God alone. Don't bother with it. The bottom line is,
where's your compound, Dr. Judith?
Sometimes people start out on that level that you said. We're going to create a future for our generation. In the middle of all of that, Bob Marley had 49 children with 62 other women. So the bottom line is that all that you're saying sounds fine. And it gives the idea that, you know, we get together because we want a structure. I don't think most human beings even think about structure when they get together. They get together for so many various reasons. And usually, like I said, many times they'll get together for some of what you're saying, but something, the sex comes in. And do not try to act like it's not, because it comes in, and that's when the complications begin.
Okay,
that's when the true
what complications are we talking about here? What complications are we? Because
listen, if Bob Marley and his wife got together, he saw certain things about her that he knew would work for him in terms of generation and his children. And yes, he had some kind of desire for her, but I don't think it was that great. Then Cindy Breakspear come in and this other one come in. That's polyamorous. Because after a while, it didn't matter that he was married, because he wasn't trying to get other wives. He was just being amorous. He was just doing whatever Bob Marley did. Well, he wasn't thinking about future generation when he did.
Why he wasn't thinking, but he was interviewed about his views, and he said he was not into the westernized structure.
So why he married that woman then?
Why he married her?
Yeah.
We need to ask him and find out, but I can't find out.
Well, people do not remain the same.
All I could look at is the end game. All I could see is the end game. If he had a plan, it worked out, and I'm looking at his generations. We're still talking about his generations. When did he pass? He passed in the early 80s, right?
81.
We still today talking about this gentleman and what he has left behind. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Regardless of what, they're going to be here to stay, because that's a lot of wealth.
And you're saying that a lot of that came out of his choice in a polygamous lifestyle?
Of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because there's power in numbers.
Oh Lord,
that's my point.
Guys,
It's
I gotta go.
Your network is larger.
You can have numbers that are shaky. Don't tell me there's power in numbers. It's not true all the time.
If you have,
it's not true all the time.
If you have a football side, wouldn't you be better off than if you have a lawn tennis side? Like, you know, if you have a football side, have a football side.
Yeah, but each side has weaknesses, has deficits. So you're not guaranteed because there's a large number that things are gonna work and it's gonna be well structured.
You have more chances. You have more chances. You have more options. You have more resources at your
disposal.
You have more resources.
You what? You have more what?
You have more resources.
And you know something that's
more
exactly what
opportunities.
Jamaican men feel.
You have more opportunities.
The more girls they have is the more opportunity they have.
You have more resources, more opportunities with the numbers that you have.
You're looking at that part. That's not the whole objective.
Listen, it is what sticks out in my mind, and I don't see. There's a lot of situations that you're talking about that comes from that. I don't see it. I don't see a lot of. Listen, Karin corrected me when I said polygamy, and then I said she said no. What I was talking about is polyamorous. Maybe that's my issue. Is that there's more polyamorous people walking around than people who are even interested in polygamous relationships. I don't think there's a great interest in it. I think there are more because polygamous relationships suggest responsibility, deep responsibility to more people than a polyamorous relationship. A polyamorous relationship, tell me if I'm incorrect here, Karin. A polyamorous relationship suggests just a fleeting thing and how I feel, when I feel, and how I go about.
It is. I'm inclined to sort of vibe with how you feel about that, but according to the specialists, mental health and social specialists, the polyamorous may also be seen as being committed to the multiple people that they're seeing in that time. Right. I don't agree with this.
No, I understand. But I understand why they would say that.
I've seen that in writing, and I'm like,
because there are people who are polyamorous that can give you information verbally, whether they believe it or not. They can tell you what they get from each person. And remember, a polyamorous person will tell you what they're getting. They're not necessarily telling you what they're giving. So the fact is that
that's a different structure. Like, I can't put polygamy in that group. That's a different type of group. They're not building anything. It's really more about intimacy and romance. It's just, it's a different energy. And we have to address it as well, because the new generations, this is where they're going, because of the deficiencies of other structures that we've had over the years. So now you have the polyamorous, the one you call their name now, the
polyamorous.
Right. You have that group that is now in fluctuating. So they're jumping ahead because they can't wait on where it's going.
Let me ask you a question.
You have all these new things coming.
What is one of the major what is the word now? What is one of the major elements in the I'll say in the character, the personality of this present generation? What is one of their major things that they seek? That they're about?
Material wealth.
And what else?
I think that they're breaking free of all ideals.
No.
How you tell me?
Sorry, that's what you said. No? Sorry. No. That's fine. That's what you said. I don't want to tell you that you have a right to say that. One of the major things that inundates them is a sense of me.
Oh, okay.
It's all about them. This is one of the most narcissistic generation of people right now. These people that call themselves all these different names, they are what they call them, the Gen Z. right, Gen Z, all these names that they have for themselves. They're one, and my son admits to it. He admits to it.
But Judith, let me ask you something.
They don't care.
Let me ask you something, Judith.
Any structure that gets in the way of what they deem as appropriate or desirable, of course they're going to whitewash it. Of course it's not a big deal. So what you're talking about, structure, Sam, in the polygamous relationship, doesn't fit these people. Because they're not looking. Because
structure.
Because self.
Yeah, because in this society, polygamy was not even introduced. They came up in a monogamous society. So now this is the result of what you're seeing because of how it was not working for
okay, all right. You see.
So
let me. Judith, let me ask you something. Judith, let me ask you something.
It evolved. It evolved.
Dangerous word. Yeah.
Let me ask a question here. As an adult, Judith, would you want to live in the same house that you grew up in as a child? The same house, the same decorations, the same environment?
Listen.
No, I'm asking you a question.
No, but let me answer my way. You can't tell me how to answer.
No, I'm making a point here. Yeah, I'm making a point here.
Listen to me. I could live in the same house, but being me, being I would change the environment. I would change the curtains. I would change the decorations because it's not the house that's the issue. It's what I bring to the house. So I would not have an issue. I would not have
remove yourself, but so your answer is yes, you can, but you will change certain things. So this is my point, what I'm making here, where this generation is concerned. They do not want to grow up under the same ideals that their parents grew up on. And once again, if they're seeing this thing is not working, as somebody say, they grew up in a shitty marriage. Now you telling me that this is what they see growing up.
So all marriages not because there was a shitty one.
Let me make my point. They grew up with these ideals. They grew up with their parents talking about go to church every Sunday and do this and do that. And they saw how that whole system did not work for their parents. So now they are now becoming adults and they choose not to go along with what they saw did not work.
Listen.
And they have a right. They have a right. They have a right to make these choices. They have a right to make these choices.
Listen,
nothing
they can do whatever they want. And while they're doing all of that, they're losing. They have nothing concrete to hold on to.
According to whom?
They're scatterbrained, and they're all into self-aggrandizement.
According to whom, Judith?
According to me.
Okay, the generation from before. The very same way we were ridiculed by our parents, now we are ridiculing the next generation because they are not following us.
I am saying we cannot get rid of everything because it didn't work the way we think. We cannot get
rid of everything. They're getting rid of the things that...
We have gone too far.
They're getting rid of some of the things that you choose to hold on to.
Relationships don't work because human beings don't work. You cannot take an institution and dash it away because the bottom line is that we don't work at a damn thing. We don't work at nothing. We have a relationship. We live with somebody, whether it's common law or whatever, and something annoys us. We don't talk to people. We don't sit down and reason anything anymore. We got to, this is just not working. I'm not happy. When you have a relationship, it's not about happiness. It's about working cooperative. The same things he's saying. It's about working together to achieve certain things. We don't care about that anymore. We live in a generation that now we want to feel happy all the time. And if we don't feel happy, then the person that we're with, we have to get rid of them. And you know what we do? We start all over again and the same crap starts because it's inherently our problem. It's not a marriage. It's not polygamy. It's human beings. We're crazy.
Okay. And Judith, and Dr. Judith, once again, when you have these children who grew up and looking at a society that has failed, oh gosh, let me talk, man.
We screwed them up.
Exactly. We screwed them up. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me make my point.
Did marriage screw them up?
Let me make my point.
I feel the point already.
Let me make my point. We talking about these children, right? They grew up, like I said just now, they looked at their parents. They looked at adults who talk about, for 15 years, he or she treated me this way, and I don't know what it is, A generation that believed somebody or something was coming to save them and did nothing because of this box.
You keep going back to that thing. Yeah, you
this
can't
box
you keep
that
going
we,
back to that thing all
this
the time.
box. But I don't agree with everything you say.
But you don't have
I do not agree. Okay, but I let you have your say, don't I? I let you have your say. Not because you don't agree with me.
No. It's not about disagreement.
No,
if I see it as a salient point in everything that you talk about,
no,
always mention it.
You
so the
talk
reality is
about
that's the basis
children
of
growing up in a society that did not work for their parents, and now you're asking them to embrace these same rules, these same laws, these same ideals, and they said no way. They're moving away from that. There's no blame. That generation has opened their eyes and realized what didn't work for you is not going to work for them.
This generation's eyes is open.
Hold on,
Judith.
They're not seeing what you see.
Hold on.
You're not seeing what they see.
They barely see anything.
According to you.
Talk to them. I work with them. Talk to them. I'm a 25-year-old son. Their focus has nothing to do with what you all are talking about. It has nothing to do with structure.
Dr. Judith.
It has to do with me.
Okay.
What I want.
All right.
I'm going to get. That's what it has to do with.
Dr. Judith, your point is taken. I agree with you.
You don't have to agree.
No, seriously. What you said in terms of what humans are not doing. But the thing is this. Our generation, whatever age group it is, our generation did not make that plain enough. So the numbers of us who were working hard at it did not permeate to the next group enough. So now you have a lot of failed marriages. And again, where Curtis is, I'm just bringing a little thing here. Curtis is saying, all right, the kids saw their parents and people they look up to deal with relationships, people staying together for 10, 15 years and they're unhappy. But they stayed, and the younger generation looking at it as that they're working for me. And so they go in a whole other way. So it's not that we are incorrect. It's not that you're incorrect, Dr. Judith. It's just that life has moved on.
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Is that we don't solve problems. We move on. No, I'm not sure. I'm very serious about this. We don't solve anything. We move on. And our children see that in us. We don't work anything out. In California, when you get a divorce, and it's happening more and more in this country, the usual reason is irreconcilable differences. Okay? You know what that means? You know what that really means? People don't sit and work out nothing. First of all, people get married without even considering who they're married. They're more interested in the wedding than they're in the actual marriage. People are not making commitments in a healthy fashion, period.
Correct.
So that what the flow, what comes out of this is natural chaos, because we're doing things in a chaotic way. We are marrying people that we barely do. I saw a man recently. The woman this woman that was after him and he was after her. He knew she was a nut. He knew, and when I tell you, he knew she was a nut, and he pursued her. She did things right in front of him that was so striking crazy, and nobody could tell him, leave her alone. She's not good. She's not wife material for you. He pursued her. He married her. I know one girl in Mount Vernon, New York, who married 4 different men. One she married twice. And she was a total nutcase, but she was good at the sex. And she divorced his behind, and she begged her to marry him again. So I'm telling you this. Human beings have got to take responsibility for their choices. We've got to start, when people meet each other, they need to stop lying. They need to stop having sex with one another and think that is a relationship. They need to know that your breath will stink some mornings when you wake up. Your foot will stink. Things are not always going to be perfect. So you're going to have issues. But what do? Oh, I never know she was like that. Lie. We know who people are, but we decide we're going to marry them and change them. This generation is looking at us. Of course they're looking at us. And there's not much to see, because we have failed miserably. And it's not marriage that's the problem. It's us. We are generationally sick. We want what we want when we want it. We want to feel good all the time. And we think, listen to me, an orgasm lasts just so long. an orgasm lasts just so long. So to build a relationship on that, to build a relationship on that is a joke. People got to start liking each other or leave each other the hell alone.
Dr. Judith, this is a situation, right? Now, again, you're correct, Dr. Judith, but
I ain't correct. I'm just.
But let me tell you where we are. You see, you ever see people mix cement before, and they put the sand in a circle, and they put the bag of cement inside, and then they mix it, and then they take the water hose and put the water there. All right, that is the time when we are supposed to establish with the young people what we're talking about. If we miss that boat, which you just said, that we're not doing these things anymore. Our generation missed the boat, so now all the water up, and now we have to catch the water before the water run away and go down the drain and mix the cement.
You ain't catching nothing.
Water more than flour, right?
Y'all ain't catching nothing.
Dr. Judith,
you know what our generation. Let me tell you what our generation says.
Dr. Judith,
let me tell you what our generation says to the young people.
Tell me what the generation.
Oh, I would like for you to have what I never had. I would like for you to really succeed in things that I never succeeded. That's part of our problem. We keep thinking that we're going to give them what we never had. Some of us, the things we never had made us who we are, and we're not that bad off. We have created this mad generation. We have created these children. Listen to me. The school system is going to hell. You know why? Parents, and I'm not joking, I'm damn serious. We have equipped children with phones. We equip them with the right clothes and all of that stuff. And we have left their hearts and their minds out of it. We don't train them to be decent citizens. We don't train them to be socially conscious. We train them to take care of themselves. And I'm not joking. When you work in a building with 3,000 students and every few hours there's a fight in the hallway, they're coming from homes that are screwed over because they're thinking, and I'm telling you, especially West Indian parents, their thinking is African-American children, we're going to give them what we never had. We didn't give them a damn thing. What we have done, we have given them the feeling that if it doesn't feel good and it doesn't work, I'll buy you a 7-year-old child shot a 9-year-old child here in Stelville, Georgia recently. Wow. We have guns around them. They're dying. And instead of getting rid of the guns, we see that we're getting more guns. And that's black folks too. So what you guys are saying to me, it has nothing, after a while, it has nothing to do with, you said, the structure, and it keeps it going, and it's generational. Listen, we need to fight for this moment. We need
hold on.
And we are not in a good place.
We're running away from the point.
No, I'm not.
Sad to say, we have already been put aside as far as they're concerned. Right now, they get out of the way.
That's part of our negligence.
Get out of the way.
That's part of our negligence.
Dr. Judith. Hold on, Dr. Judith. Everyone on this panel is over 50 right now.
You're kidding.
Right. So we
Listen. We have abrogated our responsibility to these little punks. We have, listen to me. When I lived in Florida, I formed a group of people for children who started, the families, the mothers especially, started getting scared of the defects. So what we started doing, we started shutting up because we don't want defects to come and lock us up. And we started giving our responsibility away to these children. And that's why we're in the position we're in now. Because we started saying, I'm not going to touch them. A policeman told me, whip him on his behind so it doesn't show. We have given up our responsibility. And that's why we have this crazy.
And who created those laws? Who created those laws?
Who did what?
Who created those laws?
Listen, man, listen. Let me tell you something about laws.
Ask your question. Who created laws?
Listen to me. Laws have always been around. And black folks, if nobody else, have always had laws in their houses. We don't have any more. You understand? We don't have any rules in our houses anymore. We don't make any standards for our children anymore. So all this crap that people want to talk about laws, laws are there. They're around me. And this young man can tell anybody, and it's not me alone. There are many women. Some kid in Maryland a few years ago, they went and black kid got involved in some foolishness, some protest or something, and he did something stupid. The black mother caught him and whipped his behind publicly. And they got on her, and the police wanted to bring charges against her. She said, he is mine. I whip his behind. I get him straight. We don't do those things anymore. We call defects. We call the counselor. And black folks don't like counselors. So guess what? We're destroying ourselves, especially black folks. And I'm sorry you call it any relationship you want to call it. We, you, me, us in this relationship, our age group, have given up on our children. And we have let them loose on a world that's unsuspecting. And they're damn crazy. I'm telling you. I work with them 5 days a week. They're damn crazy. And they carry guns into school. There are 2 girls in the toilet having oral sex. You understand? We have lost them because we are so busy accommodating them.
So
I don't know the craziness. Man, I shouldn't even get to start talking about this stuff. It makes me mad.
But the same society, Judith, that look down upon what we're talking about, uphold what you just talk about in the bathroom. They uphold that, but yet still put down the polygamy and put down situations like that. Structures that we may set up for ourselves, that's looked down upon by society, and they uphold the living with animals, the bestiality, the all that other illicit behavior on the school bus, and all these.
Especially you. Let me ask you.
You don't listen very well, you know. Go ahead.
Your party.
You don't listen very well. Go ahead.
How there was a woman in this country, a white woman, and this country people keep talking, especially in the religious circles, they keep talking about it. One white woman, one crazy behind white woman, supposedly got prayers out of school. How did she do that?
Because she had a lot. She had a lot of other people. She had a lot of other people who felt the same.
Do you know what happened? You know what happened? People like her make a decision. They want something done, and they find a way to do it. We have gotten so comfortable. People talk about Black History Month and all this black business and whatever, and all these things we're supposed to be. The bottom line is after Dr. King lost his life and all these other people lost their life, we have gone down. We have just gone down and away from anything that says fight for something. We don't fight for anything anymore. We don't stand for anything anymore. We want things delivered to us, and that's the generation we have raised. We don't want to, because you know what happened? Everybody wants a change. And when we talk about society is not a building. Society is us.
Okay.
And one by one, we make a difference. We don't stand up for anything anymore. I see people in my purview at work, different places, and they see something wrong. And you know what they say? Barnes will do it. Because we're a bunch of punks. We don't.
Let's bring this back home. Let's bring this.
Because I want to bring it back. So I was going to ask Dr. Judith now. Will monogamous relationship structure pull us out from where we are, or will a polygamous structure pull us out from where we are right now? Now you've given us a picture of where we are as a people.
I will tell you.
Which one of these systems will pull us out?
I will tell you that none of them will pull us out. None of them. Because we continue to rely on structures like that. Like, the monogamy is not working. Let's get rid of it. Let's bring in the polygamy and see what happens there. Because we don't work at anything. I don't believe that any of them.
But Dr. Judith, we never said that. You didn't
say, no, you don't have to say it. It's
hold on, Dr. Judith. We said everything is not for everybody. I remember saying that in the beginning. So I never said to get rid of monogamy or get rid of polygamy. We're just looking at, okay, what family structure do you see that would help take us out of where we are right now? Because
I don't believe either.
Polygamy versus
none of them.
Monogamy.
Okay, so which one you believe? That's the question.
I have nothing to do with it. You know why? I have my individual way that I live that works for me.
So isn't that everybody going back to being selfish? Everybody
No, I'm not being selfish.
Isn't that everybody going back to just being selfish after what they see?
Listen, why I'm not saying because I stopped messing with folks. people gonna do what they want to do. I'm not gonna beat up myself saying certain things anymore because it's pointless. People, listen, in the last 6 months or more, this has come home to me more than ever. People are going to do what they want to do, and no, this one I'll keep to myself. The bottom line for me, I make a difference in this world. I make a difference when I enter a room. Me, that's what I do. And I teach this young man as best as I know how to make a difference also. What I do not believe that I have no value in this structure in life. I do not believe that I can't say anything to make a difference. But I also know that I could talk until I die. People are going to do exactly what they want to do. They have their mindset that way, and they have a right to do it. But as for me, I will continue to believe what I believe because it works for me. I have 2 divorces. Nobody divorced me. I divorced both of them. I didn't want to work at it anymore.
I stayed on to that one.
Gosh. I didn't want to work at it anymore.
I
did not want to work at it anymore. And they were not strong enough to even encourage me to work at it. So I say,
at the end of the day, Dr. Judith, at the end of the day, it didn't work.
But at the end of the day, it was that marriage that was the problem. I was the problem, and so were they. And I don't lay that on any institution. It is on me. Because I could have done better. So could they.
If you were supposed to suggest a relationship structure,
not going to do it.
Being that you had 2 monogamous ones that ended up
in nothing to do with that.
Regardless
of whose fault it was.
We're not pointing the finger whose fault it was.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
So how are we getting out? How are we getting out of this? Let me throw the topic away.
Listen to me. Let me tell you how you're gonna get out of this. Listen to me. I am just one person. A triano. One who can get out. Me not have to be a part of getting it out.
Oh.
I am not. I don't have the Jesus complex to say I can fix everything. So the 3 of you, I will listen humbly to your suggestion how to get out of it. But I personally am not to offer on that.
Dr. Judith, you laid out all the problems, but you don't want to give us a solution.
No solutions.
No solution.
That's okay. Listen, what you're doing right now is psychology, not even 101. That's psychology 99.
But it's interesting that Trini Girl said that I thought we were not judging here, but this entire last 15, 20 minutes is a judgment of a lifestyle, a generation, and a culture. I am puzzled. Basically, Diane Roxanne Martin said, marriage is not for love anymore. It's about finance and marriage of convenience. This society is about convenience. I saw 3 friends purchase a home together. Who said it still has to be I have to purchase a home with a husband or myself? Traditions are changing. Curtis is right. Right now, they're saying to us, get out of the way. It is what it is. That doesn't mean I agree with it. Just saying it's a different generation. We're living in Sodom and Gomorrah.
There you go.
That's the last statement. You can't make a blanket judgment on any poly that is older than monogamy in other cultures. As I stated before, and I did state in the beginning, polygamy or monogamy was set up at some point in time. We have to ask ourselves what was there before. What did we as African people practice?
Polygamy was there before.
What did we as African people practice before?
Polygamy.
Exactly. There was no such thing as monogamy. That is something that was instituted by different cultures.
It was there too.
Yes, people did take on wives, but nowhere in history is it written where black men, African men, this one wife till death do us part, you and I alone, and all of that. These, like I said, these vows, hypocritical vows, I call them, that were ever written throughout history. And I do believe in people making their own vows and reading those to each other at a wedding. I salute that. I'm with that. Make your promise to me. I make my promise to you. But in terms of what is said on the paper, and yeah, I do this and I do that, and yeah, they stand up there and you say, yeah, right, I now pronounce you man and wife, and this man give you permission to kiss the woman where you've been kissing for the last 3 years. You know, that
You may now kiss the bride?
You may now kiss the bride. The same one you was kissing 2 nights before.
Any vow is man-made. You make up your vow, you don't make up your vow, you take it from a book.
I think you should make up what's personal and not just what the tradition is. That's my take
but
on that
Curtis,
whole thing.
do you know the saying, and Bob Marley said it or sang it, man to man is so unkind. We lie to each other. So what vow you talking about?
Did you hear the other line to that? Children don't know who to trust. So when they dash away the whole older generation, why you blame them? You leave out the next line. Man to man, so unjust.
I'm dealing
Children
with that
don't know
part
who to trust.
No.
Right?
That's the part I'm dealing with right now. I'm not dealing with the other part.
They ain't talking about
Did I
each
say
other.
the other part to you? I didn't say because that's not what I'm dealing with.
I am saying it to you.
Well, I don't need to deal with that right
That
now.
is why they dash out.
That when in Jamaica some years ago, a woman got up one Saturday morning with a man she had been living together with for years. And he started ironing his white shirt. And she said to him, let me do that for you, man. He said, no, man. She took the shirt and she ironed it. Later on that Saturday, he married another woman. Not her that he had been living with. So our unkindness and our wickedness to each other, our lying to each other, it got nothing to do with a system. It's our system that's sick. It's the human system that's jaded and crazy. And we refuse to change because we think it has to do with God. And we don't want to do what he says because, he's suspect anyway. So we don't want to change our ways. We have evil hearts doing evil things. And we want good to come from it. We keep saying that we want a good person. Are we good people? A lot of people, I told a dear family friend of mine, he's waiting and he wants God to give him a wife. I said, understand something, if that's who you believe in, if he's preparing you to receive a wife, he's preparing the wife to receive you. So it's not a one-sided coin. But the question we need to ask ourselves, whether we're doing polygamy or whatever we're doing, is am I the type of person that another person should want to share space with? Am I caring enough? Am I decent enough to share space with another human being, to consider their feelings, to when they get sick, I don't run. I don't hide because they get sick and I can't manage it anymore. When they run out of money, am I the kind of person that would make a good, forget mate, forget wife, a good friend? We can't even answer those questions in the affirmative because we are so crazy ourselves, but yet we want a perfect wife and we want a perfect husband. And as long as human beings keep putting up those structures and those expectations, we're going to continue to blame marriage, polygamy. We're going to blame everything but ourselves. And all that I can tell you guys, all I can really say is this. Things that my divorces, I take responsibility for at least 60% of its failure. I'm not going to put it on him. I'm not going to put it on society because I know where I failed. And until and again, society is not a building, it's individuals. And until we as individuals stop talking and start living truth, living in a way that other people can trust us, and somebody can lay down next to you and they're not worried that you don't really like them and you're there for the money and all these other reasons that we have to be in a relationship. We have no right to expect anything good.
So
we're not giving our best.
Judith, just so that you know, we didn't pick this subject tonight to blame anyone.
It's not blame.
Right. So this was a topic that one night we were talking, this was like 3 weeks ago, guys, and the topic came up briefly and the chat was buzzing. So we said, you know what, this is a good topic to address.
And that's why I come with this.
Right. So we don't totally want to turn it into, well, we're trying to eliminate something or do away with something, but we want to look at impartially. We want to look at all the different components and what are the advantages and the disadvantages of each relationship structure. So that's what I'm saying. life has evolved to the point where it's moving in a whole different way. I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like in 3-4 years from now. It's going to look like a whole other thing. So these are things we, even if we may not agree with certain things, even though we're not ready to accept certain things, ready or not, it's coming. The kids are coming.
The thing is this,
growing up.
The thing is this, no matter what the topic is, no matter what you said or Curtis said, the reality is that we are not impartial. Whether we can pretend we're impartial, we can play at it, but what's in here comes out of here. Now there's some people who can let something come out of here that they don't mean. I'm not one of them. So the thing is that I am going to tell you what I believe. I'm going to tell you what I feel as part of this panel, because that's what I do. That's what we all do.
And we love what you do, Dr. Judith. We love what you do.
No. But listen to me. When you say that it was not meant to be, it's not about, as you use the word evolve several times. As we conversate, as some of our people here in Georgia like to say, as we conversate, things come out that might not meet your standards, that might not seem to fit in to what is, the structure of what is being discussed.
At the same time, we can't stick our head in the sand, because whether we stick our head in the sand, things are happening.
So what now?
I said, if we stick our head in the sand, things are still happening.
But you assume that my
when
head is
you're driving a car and the engine light is there,
you assume my head is in the sand.
Thing and you cover the engine light, that warning and telling you something wrong with the engine.
When a person can tell you, they know they failed, their head is not in the sand. When they can tell you that major things happen in themselves, in their lives, and they can say, listen, I got a big chunk of this responsibility. That's not somebody with a head.
No, I didn't say your head was.
No, it doesn't matter whether it's me or anybody else. It doesn't matter whether it's me or anybody else.
Okay.
When you talk about discussing things impartially, you leave room for people to say things that we don't necessarily, like you said, we don't necessarily have to agree. But the person feels free to say it because that's the forum that we have.
Right.
So the bottom line is that whatever I say, listen, whatever I say here, I'll say it at work. I say it anywhere I go, because I don't really change my thoughts about certain things. So whether it's me, not everybody speaks the way I do, and I get to, Curtis does, but he won't admit it. I say what I say and I mean it, but I also know and understand that everybody has their right to their opinion. And so I'm not apologizing, and I'm not at the same time saying, I'm just saying, listen, this is who I am. And anything that I say on this program at any time, except for the blouse and skirt, I mean it. You understand? I mean the things that I say, because after you've lived a while, if you don't mean what you say, you're a danger to other people.
Let me ask you all something. Let's take away the legality of this whole situation for a moment. Anyone here support cohabitation?
What do you mean? Haven't we all been in situations of cohabitation?
I have done it.
I'm asking the question.
I have done it, and I
support it, because I think you need to do a test drive of a lot of things.
My girl.
I know somebody was waiting with a shot in the chamber. I didn't expect it to be Karin, but I know somebody was waiting with a shot in the chamber.
Thank you, Miss Knight.
I thought it would have been Judith. I know Karin decided to wait.
Test drives. No.
You had it wrong in the chamber waiting to find out. Silence. Go ahead, please, Karin. Let me hear it. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, you have to know me and live with me is what Jamaicans tend to say. I mean, it's fine to be dating and going out and even getting together to go on vacations a weekend here or there. When you're in the household, sharing space and time, and you definitely get to know the person and have an idea if this is somebody that you want to build a real future with. So yeah, I completely support it.
What's your as Sam, as a person who was raised in the church, what is your honest opinion on cohabitation?
My honest opinion.
Your personal opinion.
Is there another one? But
Yeah.
this one?
I will I'll work with what Karen said. But I don't know if I'm going to call it a test drive. I may not call it a test drive situation. but you know, to each his own. You know, but of course the religious my religious persuasion does not agree with that. And you know, it's a different type of thing. So that's how that would work. You know. But yeah, that's
Dr. Judith.
I have tried it. I did it.
I'm allergic to
I lived with my husband before I got married. I also will say this without any kind of reservation. I think marriage is one of the best and finest institutions, if you want to use that word. I think the ideal is wonderful. It is a wonderful thing to see two people deciding to be together. Yeah, differences, yeah, problems, nothing perfect, but they decide they want to be together. Some days they don't like each other. Some days things never will be perfect as long as two human beings are dealing with each other. But they find something, not perfect, but they find something of value that they want to keep. And they see the other stuff in each other that they don't particularly like. But what they want to keep is more important than what they don't like. I love marriage. I think I am sorry that I failed at it, because I did fail at it.
So answer the question for me now. Which
this,
number one cause of divorce? Answer that in your.
I didn't listen. Usually they talk about, they say money and what else? What else? A lot of it has to do with money, that they say is one of the major reasons for divorce.
Infidelity.
I don't think that's true.
Lack of communication.
Infidelity.
Lack of communication. I believe sincerely that living with somebody before does not reduce the chances of divorce. And I did it. So I can say, well, you know, we have to change the structure now because that structure never worked. I knew I shouldn't, in my choice as religiously, I knew I shouldn't have been living with anybody. Because remember this, you know, what we believe to be true, when we go against it, it will blow up in our faces. I didn't believe that I should be living with somebody before I married. So I went against my own belief system, which naturally is unhealthy if you go against the very thing that you believe. So I don't believe in living together before marriage. Whether it's a test run or a slow drag, I don't believe in it. I know that people play for each other when they live together and they play parts. I know of women who have children. And one told me one time, I said, you have children to keep your husband out of the bed, don't you? And she said, yes. So I believe we are issues in our own way. We stand in our own way and cause our own problems. So for me, if God would want me to be married again, I would love to. Because you know what? I know better than I did before. But I could not just marry anybody. I got to marry somebody who believes what I believe. So I wouldn't live with anybody again. I did it twice and it failed.
So Karin, I can't remember if there was a question there, but the last part of what I asked her was, what do you think is the number one cause?
True.
What do you think is the number one cause for divorce?
Infidelity, financial issues, and the miscommunication that occurs constantly between men and women.
False expectations.
Sir?
You know, in my experience,
I'll lick it through this thing if you're bringing a boat.
That's God said it. It's a bridge now. A bridge.
In my experience, the arranged marriages I have seen have been better and more durable the arranged marriages I've seen.
Me too.
The second one I've seen is where the gentleman was approximately maybe 10 to 12 years old. Those seem to work well. The ones where the age group kind of close, it kind of rough, because remember now, when you're coming up like you're a teenager, the lady is 12, well, she's a girl. Girl is 12, the guy is 12. A 9-year-old would be looking up to the 12-year-old as the guy, right? The 9-year-old girl looking to the 12. A 12-year-old girl would not be looking to a 12-year-old guy. She'd be looking at a 15-year-old guy. So when you get to, you know, so which means that they say the female develops faster than the male in that age group. So a woman who is 21 would more than likely work with a guy who is maybe 29 or 30 or maybe 35. So now we have to look at all of this.
I'm not saying no.
I'm a scientist, you know. You see what this thing, Mark? Hybrid executive. Is science I bring it to the table.
All right.
So my point is, if arranged marriages seem to be durable, and our generation moved away from that, right?
Did you say durable or doable?
Durable.
Okay.
Right, durable. We move away from that, and now we start picking we own woman, or we picking we own man, however you're doing it. We suffer, we break down, marriages thing, whatever, divorce is going through the roof. And the next generation look at this and say, look, I ain't lucky with that, I going so. So now is a whole new thing. That's how I see it. Now, the other part to my answer, I know what time we're looking at, is based on the topic for tonight. There's some things I like on the monogamy side, and there's some things I like on the polygamy side. So it all depends on
we're closing.
I know. I want to make this point. But so it all depends on the individual or the individuals, what it is they're doing. Based on what it is you're doing, what it is you're looking, if you're looking to build something or you're just looking to live your life, it's two different approach. And that is my piece to what helps to make something successful, or if it will not be successful. That is my point.
And next thing I want to bring up, and I ain't agreeing or disagreeing. Don't think because I drop in a day, I ain't agreeing or disagreeing. That's the point.
Disclaimer.
Right? That is everybody make their point. No, the problem I have with some of these, Karin say, what? The bottom line.
I love that.
Big up to the chat tonight.
Durable. She's a product of an arranged marriage, and she does not recommend it at all.
Okay, well, you have exceptions to the rule sometimes.
In terms of that older and younger thing, she said when the men get too old, and hold on, what she say? And there's a problem in the bedroom. Just saying. And Trini girl said then it will be time for that boy.
But all of that goes back to what Karin and I said. None of us are perfect. And if you want that perfect person, go build one. There's always going to be a problem.
But Sam mentioned this age difference with the younger girls liking older men, and it's also in the reverse. A lot of the older guys tend to like the younger woman, right? But my problem with individuals who insist on marrying a virgin is like what Judith said earlier on in reference to an orgasm. It only lasts so long. Is what they don't realize. Virginity only lasts for what? One night. It's not like you're married a virgin and you have a virgin all the time. That virginity lasts for the night of the marriage.
It's his virgin.
And then it's done. But then you spend your whole lifetime teaching a novice how to conduct themselves in bed instead of enjoying yourself on day 2 and week 3 and week 4. You're holding a tutorial because you now have the experience and you pick up a virgin because that's what you're supposed to get or that's what you think you deserve. But now you spend a lifetime teaching an individual who know absolutely nothing about the game that you experience it.
So what's wrong with that?
I ain't saying anything wrong with it. I just saying I don't see it as a
You like that because you're a teacher. You like teach.
As a big deal that a lot of in certain religions where they put it, well, you know, they're looking for a virgin girl. A grown man in his 40s.
It's not just the physical virginity, Curtis. It's not just the physical aspect. Virginity suggests purity. It suggests other things that are symbolic. It's not just the physical thing that you want a virgin. It's that there's a lack of what's not lack. Supposedly, the person does not know that much about the whole sexual realm. And there's nothing wrong with that if people want that.
But why is this virtue, excuse me, this virtue of virginity only attributed to women?
Well,
and men or boys are frowned upon.
I don't agree with that. I think men should be, I think boys should be virgins too.
I'm going to have to disagree with that.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay.
There's no point. No.
Karin, ask the question for me of these women in the chat. Ask them just based on what you said. If any of them, no, I want you ask the question as a woman. Ask. No.
Do any of you ladies want a virgin? Crickets.
And you say Karin, what? Hell no.
Hell to the no. Crickets.
Why not?
No, they can't flex.
Oh,
I'm trying to figure things out. I don't have the patience.
Wait. So,
I don't have the patience.
Okay. So,
all right.
Karin, you are saying that if you happen, what? Okay. I'm just gonna put up by everybody laughing, right? So Karin, you are saying if you are blessed to meet a virgin man, and everything else works for you, you know, he smell good, the smile is good, personality is nice, you know, there's some charisma. But he's a virgin, you're not going to accept him, you're not going to show him the ropes?
I am not. I'm going to direct him to a virgin female. I don't have the patience. I don't have the time. And it's going to be strenuous. I'm being
real. Oh my Lord.
It's me to be teaching what and how and move. And there is a certain lack of confidence because they don't have the experience. So no, not for me.
I think we just found out
you're on your own with this one.
I think we find a new topic because only one lady said in her younger days she would have accepted
the challenge,
a virgin man. But most of the ladies on here say no.
No.
Interesting.
I would.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a certain assertiveness and confidence that they lack because they don't have the experience. Experience. There is no. There is no.
They don't want to go teach somebody else.
For experience when it comes to certain things. Period. What?
But listen, Karin, you see that whole thing there? Women, I have around me right now, but a couple guys in their 30s who are attracted to me, and who you think give me the hardest time about them? Women. What is wrong with you? Why would I say, shut up? It's none of your business. What does that have to do with you? If I am interested in him and he's interested in me, how you get into this conversation? Now, I'm not boasting about prowess or things like that. I'm just saying that if you have that kind of attraction towards somebody and it's mutual and they're not as experienced as you are, don't hurt me. It's not gonna hurt me. It's just, I mean,
it's closed.
What she said?
The school is closed.
School is closed. You see, it's how you all perceive.
She said things. New applicants will be redirected.
Redirected elsewhere. Yes.
You might be missing.
Yeah,
You
bring
might
them
be
to
missing
the
out
chat
on something
tonight.
wonderful.
This is college. This is
Let them
college. You need to
fumble
go
it
back
out.
to grade
Let
school.
them fumble it out together. Make the two virgins.
But
fumble it out
ask men that same question.
But we covered that just now. The
Yeah,
older men
okay.
they will not
And that's
refuse
why
a virgin.
women, we count ourselves out. We count ourselves out because the same we want your age group and you all want young girls. So we count ourselves out. I ain't counting myself out. I'm sorry. Oh, what them call me? Me's a cougar. I said, call me anything you want to call me. You idiots.
I remember an extended family member some years ago. She was well into her 50s, and a young gentleman on the street said something. Yeah, said something to her. She was on lunch break, and the young guy passed and like, and he said something to her. And one of her colleagues, same age, said, "You're gonna accept that? Why don't you put him in his place?" Say something to him, put him in his place. And she said, "Why? If a young man, 25 years old, find me sexy and I'm 55, why am I going to put him in his place?"
She could put him in his place.
That's right.
In her place.
You can put him in.
So that day, I think, from what you stated on several occasions, Judith, in terms of your confidence as regardless of how old you are, where you are in life, I think a lot of women lack that. And they would frown upon a younger person, giving them a compliment, telling them that they look good. "Oh no, you old enough to be my son." He never said he wanted it. He just said, "Man,
Exactly.
He just said you look good."
I mean, a compliment is a compliment. And I have no business to put my son in that place. He's a man, he's attractive or not attractive, but he says I'm attractive. Thank you very much.
No, I said someone who's old enough to be a son.
No, I agree. I understand. I'm just saying that women tend to tell men that. Oh, don't say those things to me. You're young enough to be my son. I don't say those things to guys. If you want to pay me a compliment, my son has nothing to do with that.
So how you feel about that, Karin, a young man giving you a compliment?
Depends on the compliment. If it's tastefully stated. Thank you.
But you know, Karin, you know in your culture, Karin, you know in your culture, we're talking about tasteful. Girl, you look good, you know.
If it is tasteful, what me say? Tell me what me say. If it is tastefully stated, I say thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What is your definition of tasteful?
Don't ask her that. Can you know how Karin feels about this? Listen. The man have to put on a top hat, put on gloves, and a fine suit and say the very mention of your name sends tingles up my spine.
No.
I'm just messing with you.
If it's respectfully stated, I can say thank you and genuinely mean it.
Listen, I have teenagers compliment me. I'm sorry.
When you come sideways.
I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to speak suggestively to a teenager. And I'm not going to, encourage conversation. But the truth is that I think women send double messages, triple messages to people. I am just basic. You think I'm attractive? Thank you. I'm not going to push it.
It is subjective.
Inappropriate.
I had like at least two female teachers. I had a nice little crush on, and I used to look like must look real nice. Yeah, Jed. Must look real nice. Miss, how you doing today? You need anything from the parlor? Everything's. I bring a mango for you, miss.
I said, did you cut it up for me?
But as we wind things up,
you should have asked, did you cut it up for me?
As we wind things up on that 2-hour mark, as we wind things up on the 2-hour mark, somebody mentioned earlier on that I saw it in the chat that she knows an African who does not support polygamy and whatnot. Even though I called several countries in Africa, there are some 27 countries in Africa that do not recognize polygamous marriages. So it's not that it's an African thing because there are several countries. There are several countries that are
within the continent.
Yeah, several countries on the continent that does not recognize that. There are several countries in Asia. There are several countries across the world that does not recognize that. So for whatever their reasons are, it's their law, and they don't do it. So not because I stated that it's legal in certain parts of Africa, it doesn't mean the entire continent by no stretch of the imagination. So people take us home, and we give our personal insights. Some of us, we judged, self-included. I don't know who we'll be talking to right now. If the younger ones, in terms of recommendations for them, what gems, what pearls of wisdom you have to impart, maybe to even the other ones who are out there who are still looking to take that walk down that aisle, who's still looking for that gentleman to get down on one knee and all of that other stuff that is acceptable today. But let me ask you something. Hold on. Before you go, let me ask you something. Not you, Sam. The woman in the panel. I want you all to answer this. And the two women in the panel and the woman on the chat. It is custom, regardless of which. In the monogamous situation where the man proposes to the woman and asks her for her hand in marriage. Could you see yourself proposing to a man, making that first step, and offering him a ring and asking him to become your husband?
I'm not a traditionalist. I have no problem doing that.
Short and to the point. Dr. Judith?
Nope.
That was even shorter. Sam, let me ask you something. Would you have a problem with a woman stepping to you like that with a ring and say, getting down on her knee and say, would you marry? Whatever did I say?
I would consider a few things. Is she a millionaire?
Is that some mercy?
Because if she's a millionaire, I'm just saying, Madrid, we could make it work if she can roll it like.
Could make it polygamous.
Bringing something to the table, I'll think about it, Well, that was just for the show. But
I figured that.
It just was funny. It was just good. It would be kind of strange. It would be kind of strange, I guess. Again, based on now, I guess I should ask: are there any cultures where it's normal for the woman to propose to the man? They have cultures like that.
I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I've seen on social media a lot of women are moving to that nowadays.
It's not considered, like, it's not across the board. It's just that there are some Gen Zs and some millennials who are like, I'm in love with this person. This person says he or she's in love with me. I'm ready.
It's a new craze. It's a new thing out there. I've seen actually in the last 2 years, I've seen a clips with women proposing to
I laugh at a Dr. Witty statement.
What did you say?
Let me see.
When I said nope, what do you think I meant?
Yeah?
When I said
nope, but you're not proposing to anybody.
Okay.
Andrea said yes. Diane said you better ask me.
No.
Carol said no.
Ask me.
Lucy O'Brien said most definitely she might be willing to accept it, but Dr. Witty, the man said if Oprah accept him, if Oprah asked him, he would accept and take her name. Call me Mr.
Winfrey.
You don't know the man to understand the joke. That's like a calypso, boy.
That's a calypso right there, boy.
Calypso.
So, Sam, you said that answer was just for the show. He said,
Well, like what Andrea said, no longer a male-dominated society. you see, we're in a certain age group where that's just not in our DNA. Where a lady come to propose, it's just it's not that kind of party for us. But I'm thinking that the young generations that are just mixing everything up the way they find it, how it works for them. Yeah, I'm very, very sure it will work for some of the young men today. That she proposed to me, and it might work out nice for them. Well, it will be a strange thing, but if there's some kind of value involved, I might. If it look good on paper, I look good.
But that's an interesting point you made there when you say if it looks good on paper. And so many, I said this to someone recently in a conversation when they said, "Oh no, I will not subject myself to that." Sister, you're telling me you won't get married for money? She said, "No." I said, "You're a damn fool." People get married for love. They get married for convenience. They get married for government relationships. And well, not
citizenship,
now,
residency,
green card, or everything. So you telling me that if a rich man approach you right now, who you just happen to like a little bit,
what?
And he wants to, hear what I'm saying?
What? Are you crazy? This is just as easy to love a rich man as to love a poor. Don't be crazy now.
Yeah, if you're gonna say no and turn it down because somehow that individual felt that they had so much. What's the word, Karin? Her moral what?
Compass.
Her moral compass was so high that
that compass was twisted.
She said, I will not do that. I will not do that. No, I won't. I say you are damn fool. Not to do that.
Dr. Judith.
And for me to answer that question, I'm not going to leave myself out of this. My film, my movie, my full-length film, Urban Heartbreak, is based upon a similar situation where a guy asked to marry a girl and he was refused. Now, actually the first time I witnessed someone actually proposing to someone was a few weeks ago. I went to this event, this guy's party, birthday celebration, and he actually proposed on stage to his girlfriend in front of a whole crowd of people. And to me, that's risky. It's risky for me on that end to do that because I don't like feel ashamed. I don't like to be ashamed. And to have a woman turn me down in front of a crowd of people like that it's just downright embarrassing.
Yeah, just turn your head and smile, man.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. And in terms of a woman approaching me, I don't think I should be put in a position like that where now is either the same way the woman is being put in the position that she now has to consider your feelings. And I think. And if she wants to say no, she should say no, right? And I think if I want to say no, I should tell you straight up no. No, I don't want that. So I think this is something that should be discussed as opposed to this surprise proposal that's everybody that's tradition today, So buy a ring and surprise her in front of a group of people or at some party or something. I don't buy into that.
So hold up. So you went to a birthday party that was also a proposal.
Yes.
And he was turned down?
No. She actually said yes.
She said yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she said yes.
Surprise me.
I'm just saying my movie was based on that premise.
Okay.
But for me personally, I don't like to be disappointed. And if you know you don't like to be disappointed, and I don't think that's a good move for anybody to make. Not now, not before, not anytime, because I'm that straightforward type of person. I don't think that. And I don't think a woman should feel pressured either if she don't want to be in a situation like that. To say, yes, because his family around. If you don't want to marry the man, tell him no, straight up.
So no, but she don't have to say yes. She can tell him later. She don't have to say no.
Later, everybody waiting for an answer, right there.
Well, that's the problem. It shouldn't be so public.
Many moons ago, there was a young lady I was interested in, and I picked up a engagement ring kind of thing. And put a little party together and thing, and invited her to the party. It was like little surprise vibes. So of course I went down on the knee and thing. A couple of years later, she said, "I didn't really feel sorry for you."
So wait, you tell me you got rejected?
No, she said yes. But she said at one point, "I feel sorry for you."
Did you marry her?
Yes. She was in the chat. You didn't catch that.
Oh,
She was
that's
in the chat
what
tonight.
I thought, but I didn't want to.
Yes. Yeah, so she said, "Yeah, I didn't feel sorry for you."
Lord help us.
She said, "I will never tell him no." I got.
So let me go back to that question and close me out. What kind of insight you all have? What kind of wisdom, knowledge, based on your own understanding? What you have for the hopefuls, the ones that are still hopeful out there, to take that walk down the yellow brick road?
Jesus.
What did I tell you about trying to pigeonhole people into a closing?
You have other points that you would like to make? We have 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Oh, I guess they're not okay. I'll start because them I know they're working out.
Oh, I don't know. I thought you
in reference. You going, Dr. Judith? Or who?
No, I thought yes. I thought he had asked somebody specifically.
Okay, because
Really upstairs, but,
I could throw my thing in and then I'll just get more technical on the end of the show. I think for the younger people, I would have to go back to school and get a new degree because I really don't understand them. I am not qualified to understand them, and I respect what they, I'm not mad at them. They have to find how they're finding their way. But I think I might have to go back to school and just understand where they are because there's a whole new kind of scene. The music different. Lord knows what they're eating. I can't eat what they're eating. I want nice rice and peas and, stew down and stew up and run down and run across and thing and callaloo and vibes and they are a different thing, microwave vibes, it's just different, But however, if you're a little bit closer to my age, you're a little bit closer and we could relate. If you find someone that you can gel with, or you find 2 or 3 people you could gel with, by all means, gel. So however you work it out, you figure it out, handle your business, and work it from there. Do your research, and if you're a guy, make sure you have a little age so that because I saw in the chat the ladies don't want an inexperienced gentleman.
Too late for you.
The brethren had to come in with a degree in handling business. So let me see what we partner put up here. There is no manual, no guidelines. Just take the plunge and hope.
That's what I say.
So, but I really had fun. When we spoke about this topic, I was accused of always beating around the bush and say, "Yes, Sam, if we do this topic, you have to, really ting. I say, "All right, no problem. I am a team. We go make the topic nice." Karin, was I beating around the bush tonight?
We go through a couple of rainforests, but
Well, we work out, we reach. All right, good. All right. So at least we brought a perspective that we could, if we're looking at it from as adults and, things that we have to face. The research on this was really, really nice. But Diane, Roxanne put a topic there we could probably look at and see, we can do that for our next Love Night conversation and make that, make it a lovely thing. So that's my 2 cents. The other stuff, you can contact me directly and I could share it. But certain things I put in on the public.
Well, I don't know what to say. I own everything I said. I stick with what I said. about the different this generation, the one before, and all the rest of it. I stick with it. I just that's it. I mean, I think if we want anybody or any generation, whatever you want to call it, to behave differently, we have to behave differently. And I don't think we're behaving well enough for them to copy anything. I look at grown men and women dressing like teenagers, dressing like boys, and women dressing like young girls, which tells me that we don't know, we have not sought, we don't have the wherewithal to influence them properly. I think we have sent them too many mixed messages. I think we just out and out lie to them, lie in front of them, and that has caused confusion in them. And they think lying is negotiable. They think that lying is, if it gets me where I want to go. I don't think there's ever been a set of young people that have no compunction about lying. And they will tell you, because I'm talking about hearing it, they will tell you, well, what's the big deal? It gets me what I want. Well, that's not how I live. So I think that's basically it. I express my views tonight as I always do. And I still think that marriage is the best relationship possible. I think it's something, it's God's idea. We have taken it and we have mutilated it and made it into this and made it into that. And we twist it up and we call it different names and all the rest of it. And what's amazing to me, there's so many people who claim not to believe in God. And yet marriage is God's idea. It's not ours. And we keep trying to do it. We keep trying to do it. And yet we're saying, like Curtis said, the hypocritical words and whatever. We're the ones that make it hypocritical. The words are fine by themselves. We make things the way they are. We take things and mess them up and take away the value. I saw a thing on Facebook yesterday. This man, 64 years they've been married. And he kind of shuffles into the living room and his wife is in the kitchen and he's holding a Valentine's card in his behind him. And he says to his wife, would you like to be my Valentine? And she says to him, what do you think? And then she says, you've been my Valentine for 64 years. They've been married 64 years. And he said, she said, you've been my Valentine for 64 years. And they kiss. Oh. And he says, you make my world go around. I mean, two old people. And I have seen great, wonderful marriages. I mean, great, wonderful marriages. People married 40, 50, 60. This year, Jeff and Pansy in August, we married 50 years. And I can honestly say they have their stuff as individuals, but I can honestly say, and I know they have their stuff as a couple, I can honestly say there are few people that I've known who genuinely like each other's company. These people work together in a law office all day for 30-something years. She sits there, he sits here. They take lunch to work with them from home. They do so much together. They're constantly together. And I had a family member who's on their second marriage try to make it seem like something is wrong with that. And he said to me, oh, this foolishness, I'm always together. I said, let me ask you a question. How does that bother you? How does that bother you? These people, you must, and Curtis, you ever seen Jeff and Pansy dance together? Mm-hmm. They like each other. But they made a decision years ago, through the fights and the difficulties, that they want to be together. Marriage is a decision. All of that, everything we do is a decision. And there are people who stick with a decision. And I can honestly tell you, I wish I had. I wish I had. I wish I was now celebrating my 30-something years of marriage. I'm disappointed that it didn't happen that way. But like I said, I take responsibility for it. So I am not. I mean, like somebody said, we all judge, but polygamy would not be for me. Polyamorous certainly wouldn't be for me. Could be, could be. Polyamorous could be when I was much younger. Crazy, but I never did it then. Too old now to be trying that stuff. But monogamy for me, that's the thing that I like. I like it, and I wish that people would would just realize that none of us are perfect. You've been married, Curtis. You've been married, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much time? No, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm not saying it in a negative way. The fact is that there's something that it gives. This marriage thing is something that gives us, in my opinion, hope that people keep going back to it. There's something that it offers. There's something about it that is worthwhile. So that's it.
So then we should marry like three and keep 3 to 1. Okay, anyway. All right.
No, we should work at it.
Karin, take me home.
One of the things that I wanted to touch on that we just didn't get to, historically, when you look at polygamy or polygyny, a man with multiple wives, we're looking at situations where it's someone who's very affluent, upper middle class, or royalty, monarchs, noblemen, and they saw that as some status in their particular culture at the time. It really hasn't changed that much. I don't know. It's not something that appeals to me on several levels. I already spoke about how the children are somewhat distant from dad. They suffer emotionally, physically, academically. Touched on that. But the benefits that polygamy, people who believe in polygamy suggest that the benefits are not only generating higher income, companionship, unequal to the monogamous situation, being able to oversee the children with other people overseeing the children, and let's not forget the sexual diversity that they have. People always want to sweep that away. You can't sweep it away. It's part of it. As far as monogamous situation, I'm a serial monogamist. A serial monogamist. One of the negatives about polygamous relationships would be higher incidences of STDs within their groups. The trust that is developed in the monogamous relationship is unequal as far as I'm concerned. And the fact is that when it's just a man with a woman and 2 or 3 children, he's focused on those children, not on 20, 15, 20. That's all his, but he's focused on those 2, 3. When it's a polygamous situation, somebody else, is sort of, it diverts from that structural unit. You're not intensely focused on every little thing of every little day. You don't have the energy for that. I am a monogamist. I choose one person at any one given time because that is what is comforting to me. I will not be sharing anyone with anybody at any time, knowing. And when I find out, bye-bye. That's it.
Goodbye.
Okay. Earlier on, I asked the question, what is in your opinion, the number one cause for divorce? I heard statements like infidelity. I think I said infidelity. People talk about breakdown in communication, commitments, and
money
and all these other things. One of the things I think is lack of common interests, incompatibility between people. Sometimes we don't spend enough time getting to really know each other on a mental level. We spend a lot of time on the physical level, and yeah, that feel good. But in terms of up here, getting to understand who somebody is up here, I think we need to spend a lot more time on that. And by doing that, it would eliminate a lot of conflict, a lot of arguing, if people really spend time getting to know who each other is on the inside, as opposed to just what is physically attractive at the moment. But I still think the number one cause for divorce is marriage. Because if you never get married, you have to get divorced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in terms of polygamy, when you look at the animal kingdom, I think men have a greater opportunity if you to reproduce, a higher success rate for producing offsprings with multiple females. That's how it is in the animal kingdom. And if a man want plenty children, sometimes a woman could only make so many. Like he suggested, like Sam talk about the Malis. The man wanted plenty offspring, and no way Rita could have make all of them children. 13 or 14 in number, no. So she handled what she could have handled, and he found other partners to handle the rest based on what it is he wanted. So we need to really look into some things before we get married. Nowadays, I saw this one on social media. Somebody asked, what is a good question to ask on a first date? I say, what's your credit score? What's your credit score? You need to know in this day and age who you're dealing with, what you're wrapping yourself up with in terms of how she parents children, what her philosophy in terms of parenting children. And we don't spend time learning each other like this. And you might find a woman or a man who grew up in an abusive situation, and he said, no, I'm going to beat them and I'm going to tear them. And you say, well, nice meeting you. Wait to give me the bill. You realize that is not a situation you want to get into, regardless of how appealing this person may look to you. Find out about their mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lord, have
not
mercy.
Just theirs, but in terms of their parents. Find out about their parents, what their mental faculties are or were, and you find out who it is sitting in front of you.
Yes.
How damaged that individual may or may not be. Find out about their expectations in life, sexual expectations too.
Yes,
because for all you know, like Sam said, they end up wanting you to wear pink and swing from a chandelier and pull out whips and all kind of things. And then you say,
something.
That is not my cup of tea. When did you take time to find out these things? After you're married, all of these tricks coming out, skeletons falling out of the closet, big bones. No, man, you need to talk about religion.
Yes.
Whether you're into it or not. Next thing you get to find out this person on a whole different playing field from where you are. Find out these things. These are things that why people go to date, why they go on a date, what you sit down and talk about. Not just people go on a date and you go on a first date to the movies and you sit down and eat popcorn and stare at a screen for 2 hours. And then you reach home and he looking to stick his tongue down your throat. Because you all went on a date. No. You all didn't get no time to know each other. Sitting in a movie theater, eating popcorn and drinking Coca-Cola, staring at a screen for 2 hours, and you call that a date? You could have stayed home and do that. No, go out to dinner. Watch and see if that young man pull that chair for you. Watch and see how he speak to people. Watch and see how he conduct himself, how he speaks to the waiter. All of these things are important.
Yes, sir.
Find out about his bills, whether or not he paying his bills.
Yes,
Find out whether or not she paying her bills.
Yes,
this is
sir.
what you intend to marry, what you're getting together with. Know this person. Know them. Know their expectations, sexual expectations, expectations in life. Know about their childhood trauma. What kind of values and beliefs she will instill in your children. How many children she want to have. How many children does he want to have. Find out things about this other person.
The interview?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. Stop wasting time. You're going to a party and, oh, yeah, she shake her behind. Ooh. And then you go home and you have sex. And you say, oh, yeah, we went out on a date. No, bro. Find out the stuff that really makes somebody marriage material, husband or wife material, before you run down the aisle and talk about I do, before you go and spend money on a ring. And then you go spend 5,000 and she said, where you going with that? I want something more expensive than that. Run. That is your time to say bye. I'm out. She shows you what a value system is. Let me done.
Hallelujah.
I'm talking too much.
Amen.
Too many mistakes are being made, and then we blame it on everything and everybody else. And my last point, keep other people, regardless of which situation it is, polygamous, monogamous, poly who, this, who, that, leave people out of your business.
True.
Let me say that again. True. Leave people out of your business. What happens inside of your marriage is supposed to stay inside of the house. You stop talking to unprofessional people about professional problems that you're having in a marriage. They are not counselors, they are not doctors, they're not psychologists, psychiatrists, but you're taking your business outside to everybody to discuss it, thinking somehow they could help you. No, they can't. Mind your own business. And stop taking your issues outside for other people to know it. And then the way they take it and then they take it and throw it right back in your face.
And abuse it. Yes, sir.
Mind your own business. When you have issues, take it to the furthest corner of the house and discuss it. Trash it out and come out with a united front, like Malcolm X says. Come out with a united front. The whole neighborhood don't need to know that you're all going through drama. Everybody goes through drama. Everybody argue. Everybody fight. Keep your business to yourself and stop spreading it with the rest of the world. I don't care what kind of system you're in. It will not work if you don't practice some of these things. That's all I have to say. Peace and blessings, people.
Are you gone already?
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training. And I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.
One, two, step. 1, 2, 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 step. A lot on my mind. Please get me out of my mind. I need to escape. I need to fall in the vibe. Oh, heavy on the heart. Cause you know I got a big heart. And you try to play that card and take me out of my element. I back to the love. You know it's nothing but love. You messed up. I know when enough is enough. Oh, what? Before I say something I wanna say, I'm gonna stop right here. Take me